last week on the PRS. After coming oh so close several times, finally, Uniontown, Kansas bareback rider Jared Keelan laid claim to his first PRS championship of the season in Mercedes, Texas. Bull rider Shane Rickley likewise had a breakout performance as well. He claimed his first championship of the season. And saddle bronc rider Heath Danger DeMoss found himself back in the winner's circle for the first time since the World Finals as the PRS 2015 Tour moves from the southernmost tip of Texas to the heart of the Panhandle. It's the 2015 Amarillo Open. It is a beautiful spring day for rodeo here in the middle of the Texas Panhandle. Welcome to Amarillo, home of the Big Texan Steak Ranch, enormous cattle operations, and enthusiastic rough-stock fans. Hello, everybody. I'm Justin McKee, along with Kelly Timberman and Cord McCoy. Glad to have you with us here on RFD TV. It's the first visit to Amarillo, and Kelly Timberman, I have a feeling it won't be the last. In fact, you've got a bit of news for us here today, don't you?
Yeah, I love this part of the country. It is in the center of great rough stock producers, devoted fans, and just a great appreciation for the Western way of life. And not only are we going to be here this week for the PRS Challenge, but we will be back for our 2015 PRS World Finals right here in Amarillo, January 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Well, that is certainly big news, and it's certainly looking like a great fit for the PRS with the support of the city and the fans that have already provided the PRS a lot of energy and excitement. Now, Cord, let's get down to business as we look at the updated PRS bareback riding world standings.
Well, just as you had mentioned it, Justin, at the top of the show, Jared Keelan has been tearing it up. After his win last week in Mercedes, he's only 569 points behind our leader, Matt Bright. But there's another Jared I'm watching this week, Jared Smith. He was second last week and is moving up fast. And finally, Cimarron Gerke, he's sitting sixth right now, and the door is wide open for him to make up a lot of ground if he can make the final four round. Justin?
Well, right now, let's go to Kayla Zadell, who's behind the chutes with a word on a bareback rider who's getting a bit of encouragement from a very special coach. Kayla?
I'm here with bareback rider Jared Keelan, and I asked you last week how much you study the sport outside of the arena, and you told me that you watched a video with your 4-year-old son, Gunner.
Yeah, he's probably my own worst critic. Him and I will kind of get together on a guys thing, while mom's cooking, and we'll get in there, and he knows just by the sound of the score, where the announcer says 88 points or whatever, if Dad did good or not. And if I didn't, he'll always just be like, "It's okay, Dad. You'll do better next time. I'm still proud of you."
All right, we'll be checking in with Gunner to maybe get some tips on announcing his dad as well. Now, chute boss Daryl Barron has given us the thumbs up. We're ready for the 2015 Amarillo Open in the bareback riding. First up is Cody Anglin of New South Wales, Australia, and he is on a Klein Brothers horse called Sunday Feathers.
Yeah, Cody, he's one of those guys. He does multiple events in the rough stock. This is a really good draw for him. Great start right out across there. One thing about this kid is he's just double strong. He's able to stay up on that rig, and no matter if the horse stays consistent with that bucking pattern. That was a really great controlled ride by a bareback rider, and not too familiar of a fun horse to get on.
Well, I mean, he really showed some patience there. Kind of had to wait on that horse. His timing was really good.
Absolutely, and you could see that horse wanting to get away from him, but being, like you said, waiting on that front end, keeping those feet in contact, was able to collect that horse up underneath him and make that horse a lot better than he wanted to be.
Boy, he looked good to me. 80.5 is all he mustered from the judges. Let's go to the number 3 rider so far this season from Livingston, Alabama. Boy, Blade Elliott has been doing great. Black Hills from Greenleaf Brothers Rodeo Company.
Blade's really been stepping it up. He had a really weak start right there and kind of cost him in that ride, because you can see right after this mark out, his left foot starts to drop back. He loses contact right there, kind of pops out, and see how he's below the point of that shoulder?
Yeah.
That horse wanted to be outstanding. Probably could have been the best horse in the round, and that's why that start is so important. You got to stay in contact above the point of the shoulder to help keep that horse controlled up underneath you.
Blade Elliott, only 74. Let's go to Tyler Staker out of Adkins, Texas. He is on Jax from Greenleaf Brothers Rodeo Company.
I like to watch this guy ride. He's a little bit behind all the way down there, but he's got that old school kind of bareback look, don't you think?
Yeah,
He
set up.
Sits up a Clint Corey style there.
Even more so. Boy, you don't see a guy set up like that. What do the judges do? Do they like him to do that, or would they like to see him fall back like the other riders?
It really doesn't matter if your upper body's falling back or not. It all matters on your control. Now, he had the best horse around. If he'd have been more in front of that horse with those feet, he would have been a lot higher score.
77 points. Let's go to the number 9 rider, the cowboy from Florida, now living in Eastland, Texas. Number 9 rider Jared Smith is on Creamy Coconut from Klein Brothers. Here's a former Wrangler National Finals contestant.
When we talk about markouts, that's what we want to see. He built that horse right out of there. We call it packing him out with their feet. He had his toes turned out, lifting on his rigging. Right here, watch this start. Really picking him up, lifting. See how those feet almost start to lift up towards that mane? Mm-hmm. That's what we call lift, mash. He's lifting with his feet, making that horse a little bit better. One thing I love about Jared is he's always trying to get those exposure points and get up towards that main line.
Boy, he was walking the main line right there like a tightrope. 81 points to take the lead in the goal round. As we go to the man who finished number 4 for the season last year, Cimarron Gerke, the racehorse trainer out of Brighton, Colorado, on Calvary Call from Klein Brothers.
You know, we had this horse at Jacksonville, Florida. Same thing, just a really good horse and a poor start. Cimarron's been having some trouble with this even since our finals last year. He's not keeping those feet up in the contact of that above the point of shoulder, and he's letting those horses get away. You can see how he's hitting her below the shoulder. That's making that horse want to quit bucking and get away from him. You know, that he can ride better than that. I'd like him to get up there. And
he's hitting it with the side of his boot there, too, instead of having his toes turned out and going with the heel. Judges saw that. 73 points. As we go to the number 2 rider with a bullet, here is Jared Keelan out of Uniontown, Kansas. This is the man who's got the 4-year-old little boy helping him ride. Shadow Man from Greenleaf Brothers is the bucking horse, and Jared Keelan seems to have this one set up nicely.
Yeah, this is a lot more horse compared to some of those others. This horse might have classed right there with the horse Cimarron had. A lot of strength in that front end. Jared had a good start. You know, him and Smith, they both kind of ride the same. You know, they really turn their toes out. They're about the same size. They're always reaching up towards that main line. Now, in a lot of rodeos, they would dock him for spurring over that horse's neck. Well, here it didn't affect his placement of his upper body's control, so they docked him a little bit, but still awarded him for going for those exposure points.
Instead of an 85 or 86, he's going to be 83.5, but still, he's going to win the round. Now, remember, he won the last event in Mercedes, Texas. You talk about a guy that's on a roll like butter. Jared Keelan continues to dominate the top of the leaderboard.
So, Jared, you rode Shadow Man tonight for 83.5 points. Is this a ride that your son Gunner would be proud of?
Yeah, I think so. I think that horse kind of won on that deal, but I was awful tickled to get him by him. But I think Gunner would be tickled for Dad.
We are just getting started here in Amarillo. Bull riding is next. We're ready for bull riding, and Kayla Zadell has an injury update.
I talked with Dr. Skip Ross earlier tonight, and our 2013 world champion, McKinnon Wimberly, did have surgery on that free riding arm. He's going to be out for a little bit recovering, but he should be back for the fall season.
Thank you, Caleb. No question, it's been a tough year so far, McKinnon, but things can always change. In the World Standings, Shane Rickley is back on top and pushed Garrett Trimble back to second place. Another of our rising stars is John Mincy. He's back on a bull tonight. And a couple of veteran friends of mine, traveling partner Pistol Robinson, and yeah, you may know, Ronnie Kitchen, PBR Rookie of the Year, Justin.
Oh, Rockin' Ronnie is back. Man, I can't believe it's been almost 20 years since he won the PBR Finals back in 1996. All right, let's get to it. Jared Craig of Hillsboro, Texas, is on a bull from J.C. Knapp called Whiskey Trip.
Jared Craig, actually Pistol Robinson's neighbor and traveling partner, and he, veteran bull rider, got a sweetheart of a bull coming around there away from his hand.
Oh, just kind of a nice little practice bull. He gets a qualified ride.
And stop when you're done. It's always nice to have it. When you're in the practice pen, it's kind of, in bull riding when you're practicing, you can't really wear a red jersey and tell the bull to go half speed. So nice to have one standing around like that to get warmed up on.
They ought to rename him Casper, the friendly bull. Jared Craig, a former intercollegiate champion about 5 years ago, also qualified for the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, gets a 65 with an option of a re-ride. Let's go now. Here he is. Ronnie Kitchens is on a a Joe Wimberly bull called Joe Cool. I haven't seen this guy in years.
Oh, Joe Cool, Ronnie Kitchens matched together. He got a little in there right around the corner. I tell you what, you give this guy, he will never give up. Now, I'm telling you.
Well, you know, we talk about it being 20 years. I think he won the finals when he was 19 years old, so he's bumping almost 40 years old right now, trying to pull a Dave Samsel.
I'm telling you, this guy, he grits it out every time. Whether you like his style or not, he will not let go till he hears the whistle or his head hits the ground. As you can tell here, he still got a hold of him.
Oh, yeah. That guy right there ain't going to let go till the whole kitchen's on fire. That's right. Little heat ain't going to bother him. Now let's go to Pistol Robinson. Here's a former PBR Rookie of the Year, I think back in 02, 03. He's on Scarface.
Oh, you got to cheer for this guy. You know, he was making running for, landed on top of his head. But, no, back to what I was saying, you got to cheer for Pistol. You know, I think early in the year, in the PBR one year, he was #1 in the world. Come down on a bull, broke both legs, you know, and had to come back from one of the worst injuries going. So, you know, you got to be a Pistol fan.
Making some great moves, but not enough of them. 4.8 on the clock for Pistol. He goes down early. Let's go to the number 7 man from Pennsylvania. Here's Toby Stover. Here's the man who qualified for the 13 finals, and then last year at the finals, he rode 2 but did not make it to the Wrangler Final Four showdown round. He's going up and down, I should say. He's coming off of White Lightning from J.C. Knapp.
You know, that bull just kind of got him tipped forward a little bit, and that little sucker just kept back underneath him. He never give him time to set back up again. Watch, when he gets his shoulders over once, he just cannot get pushed back up to where he needs to be. And I think little White Lightning knew it. They know where you're at, and they're going to move away.
Now let's go to the number 1 rider this season. Shane Rickley won the World Finals, and he has not let up. Caught by surprise from J&S Cattle Company is the bull that he has. The Ohio man lost his right foot. Good golly, that looked so good. And then
that little calf was a kick in there. I tell you what, that right foot was pretty important, because when it kicked him, then sent him flying.
That lifted him up. He almost just levitated there for a while. Now to John Mincy. Here's the man who was 19 last year when we met him at the world's toughest combo event. He made enough to qualify for the finals. He finished in the top 4 at the average of the finals. Now he's 20 years old and got fucking Jack Flash. Look at this.
That is pretty away from his hand. Oh,
what a bull ride. Cord, what a bull ride.
Oh, there's so many corrections he made. Even see about 6 seconds, you know, you talk about ice water in his veins. That bull popped his head up, and he didn't see him for a round and just relaxed, put his arm back down. Watch coming around here this next round. His old head comes up right there, and he just sticks it back over there and finishes it like he needs to.
There is a big pocket of rodeo, or bull riding fans, I should say, around West Plains, Missouri, where this guy lives. There's some people jumping up and down in their living room, probably crashed a couple of coffee tables with excitement. 87
That's
points.
going to make you feel better.
John Mincy. John Mincy with an 87. Sonny Murphy, we did not see his ride, but 75 points. Jared Craig did not take the re-ride and takes his score of 65. And Ronnie Kitchens is going to slip into the Wrangler Final Four showdown based on his time of 5.5 seconds. Caleb is with John Mincy.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I come in here. I've never seen him before. I knew he was a good bull to get on. I felt really good coming in, and I just put it all in God's hand and really bared down and rode like I know how, and praise God it worked out for me.
John, you had kind of a rough landing. Tell us about what happened.
Normally, most of the time, I can get off and land on my feet, but tonight, he kind of did me a little dirty when I come off. He kicked me in the side in my ribs and couldn't get no air, and there was all this air in here, and I couldn't get none of it, and I was just struggling to get out of there, but I'm healthy now.
Coming up next, Saddle Bronc. Eric Wolford missed out last week on a chance to surpass J.J. Elsher for the top spot in the world standings. The two go at it again when we come back. Saddle Bronc time now, and Kelly Timberman, that Eric Wolford, he's been in 3 Final Four rounds this season. He briefly held the #1 spot ranking after Lexington. He had a golden opportunity to move back to first ahead of J.J. Elsher last week, but he didn't have the ride he needed to have.
Last week in Mercedes, he had Pickett's horse, Momentum Shifter, and he just didn't get a good start. No points and no chance to catch J.J. This week, the judges are going to be looking at every rider's start, and their feet have got to be ahead of that horse's front shoulder at each jump. For Eric to get back on top, he'll have to get a great start.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, prepare for takeoff. Please stow away your tray table ahead of you, buckle your seat belts, and make sure your chair back is upright and uncomfortable. Here's the airline pilot, Ryan Rodewald, out of Florida on Red Dirt Road out of Greenleaf Brothers. He's moved all the way up to number 3 in the standings.
You know, he got a good start right out of there. Horse was just kind of nice, about an 18, 19-point horse, got into the fence and kind of lost
Get to know your pro rough stock riders personally each week with the official PRS podcast,
but
Masters of the Ride.
A great ride.
You can find
got
it from
about here, was a little bit behind,
Just
and the
click
horse
on
just kind of
podcast.
really weakened on him
you
at
can
the
also
same time.
subscribe on
so
iTunes,
Ryan, so the
Stitcher,
score is going to
or
reflect
wherever
it.
you find
76
your
points
favorite
for the man
podcast.
who
won Lexington. Now to Justin Kaler, the number 9 rider out of Sulphur Springs, Texas. Here's a man in Lexington, made the Wrangler Final Four round, finished 3rd behind Rodewald. Lazy J from JC Knapp is the horse.
Same thing right there. You know, those judges are going to really dock him on that start. He attempted to go up there, and then he just brought those feet right back before that first jump.
It was so quick from the right side. When we see it from the first time, it didn't even look like that he marked him out on the right.
Yeah, he didn't. You got to leave those feet up in the point of that horse's shoulder, but it's a major deduction if you don't do that. And you know, that could have been a really good winning ride.
77 points. He's winning for right now. Now to the number 13 man this year, Lake Charles, Louisiana, by way of New Zealand. Curtis Garton is on Ginger Snap. Remember, last year he won Jacksonville, got KO'd at the finals. Here he goes, set it up, looking good.
Whoa,
Wow.
out of man left, boys.
Well, that came out of nowhere, Cord.
I seen that. I think Curtis seen the same thing.
Yeah, after the fact.
Where did he go?
And he did everything right. He was lifting on his rein, had a good start, and that horse
I
just
think
kind
his
of
saddle
Look at
just
that
rolled to
saddle.
the front.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that saddle moved
nothing
a
stopped
long
him.
way.
Watch when his horse sucks back, his saddle went right with him over
Boy,
there.
it did. That moved about a foot and a half. Tough break. He knows. He's smiling about it now. Pull that back cinch.
He'll
tighter
know next time.
Number 16, Nat Stratton out of Goodwill, Oklahoma on Greenleaf Brothers. Hangover.
Oh, you talk about wanting to spur something. As soon as that horse jumped, that kid was setting him in the neck and going for it. You know, I don't even think this kid's old enough to shave yet.
Look at
the
this.
way he rides Bronc.
Man, if you didn't know Nat Stratton, you're going to. Look at, he's just combing that Bronc's hair front to back. Look at the long spur stroke. That's some fancy footwork there.
You know,
Court.
I didn't know Nate, but I know Goodwill, Oklahoma, so I was watching already.
Well, this kid is for real. 84 points from Nat. Big score. Now let's go to the number 2 rider this year, Eric Wolford out of Belfouche, South Dakota. He was number 1 for a moment. He's chasing J.J. Elsher on Bloody Mary.
He had a good start right out of there. That's what we talked about, being able to stay in time, get that good start. That was just a really consistent spur ride.
Really good ride, but after watching Nat, I wonder if it's going to hurt his score because it just wasn't near as spectacular.
No, you know, it's gonna hamper him a little bit just because of the quality of the horse, but I think Eric made just as good a ride as the other kids. So
Okay, well, the judges know what they're looking for. 82.5 looks to me like they're right on. Good job by the judges, good ride by the Cowboy. J.J. Elsher, the reigning world champion, won 6 events last year, won Roanoke this year. Hereford, South Dakota, get on your feet. Doc Bar is from J.C. Knapp, and whoa, is he tapped? Oh, he was tapped.
Lost the tap. You know,
He lost the tap.
I
little
seen
bitty
that horse
horse.
coming in there. They're not that much to get a hold of. It's not very wide there to set your feet on. And I'm telling you, when he got out of time there, you can see it. It all went to real quick.
right there when that horse really took a jump, kind of surprised him, and he got down with that right foot.
Yeah, he's confused
Not much
too.
to get a hold of there.
79 points, 79. He's going to slip in to the Wrangler Final Four showdown round next week, along with Eric Wolford, so the battle for 1 and 2 continues. But Nat Stratton is the talk of Amarillo right now. 84 monster points. Right now he's with Kayla.
Yes, ma'am. Buddy of mine had that horse at a college rodeo last weekend. Said he really bucked. Ended up bucking him off, and was willing to see how it went. And good sucker, and turned out good. And left stirrup dang near fell off about second jump, and somehow or another got it worked back on. But worked out good. Great horse, and worked out great.
More to come from Amarillo as we highlight the top performances of the night and look ahead to the Final Four matchups. Join us for the Rough Stock Bowl 4, the 2015 PRS World Championships right here in Amarillo, Texas, January 15th and 16th. new home, new level of excitement and intensity on this year's tour. Make sure you get your tickets right now for Rustock Bowl 4. So here's where we stand for next week with the Wrangler Final Four Showdown Round matchups here in Amarillo. Kelly, what stands out in bareback riding?
We've got a race. We got Jared Keelan and Jared Smith neck to neck. Both of them have great horses. Ramblin' Man of Greenleaf. We had that horse here at our World Finals. Gonna come down to the ride.
Well, there's a tough set of bulls here in the Final Four, but John Mincy, coming off a ride like that, has got the momentum going his way, but has an unridden bull, Mbogo. So I'm excited for what's going to happen there.
I say you rise him. Let's talk
watch
saddle bronc riding.
Yeah, J.J. Elser jumped up there where his normal spot is at first place, but Eric Wolford is right there on his coattails. J.J.'s got his familiar foe, Blackjack, for the 4th time, which he has won first 3 times that he's been on him. So it looks like it might be all J.J. here again.
Time to award the Kershaw Cutting Edge Performance Highlight of the Night. Cord, who do you have?
As a bull rider, you never get tired of saying John Mincy. Bucking Jack Flash at PRS Bucking Bulls, 87 points. There's so many good things about this ride. It just makes it my cutting edge performance. I'd like to see it again every time.
There's nothing like the best ride, and there's nothing like the edge on a Kershaw. Now, let's hand out the top bucking honors with the Bismarck Ranch Big Buck of the Night. This award goes to the top animal of the night. Kelly, who do you like?
My Bismarck Big Buck of the Night's going to go to Greenleaf's horse, Hangover. Yeah, that was a winning ride in the saddle bronc, had a lot of moves, stayed right in front of the chutes, and I know all those bronc riders are behind there just drooling. They want to get on that horse.
The Bismarck Big Buck of the Night is sponsored by our good friend Neil Wanless and the crew at Bismarck Ranch. Bismarck Ranch, ranching the way nature intended. Next week is the Wrangler Final Four Showdown Round from here in Amarillo. For Cord McCoy, Kelly Timberman, and Kayla Zadell, thanks for spending some of your day with us. I'm Justin McKee. Can't wait to see you next week.